That's all right, a bit nervous.
Don't be nervous, you'll be fine. So I just wanted to find out a little bit about behind the scenes of Box Legal.
Right.
And I thought, the boss is the best person to interview.
Okay, yeah.
Don't tell Simon.
No. Well, I'm pleased you described me as that. That's, yeah, thank you.
Right, okay, so, first of all, who came up with the name Box Legal?
Well, that was me. This is back in the day, we were at KSB Claims, we were a law firm, we were thinking about moving away, and I remember walking down the street and we were trying to come up with a product, a boxed product that we could sell as, like, you know, on the shelves of Tesco or something.
Okay.
And so I thought the word box, and that came through to legal, Box Legal. And I remember phoning Simon just as I was walking past the Royal Courts on Strand and saying, I've got the name. He will tell something different, no doubt, but that is what happened. So.
Well, I'll ask him and then I'll play him your response.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah.
And so, was it at KSB that you met Simon?
Well, we were Booth and Black at the time. I was his trainee, would you believe? Yes, long time ago.
Okay.
And then we merged with Kingsford Stacey to become Kingsford Stacey Blackwell, and then we became KSB after that. So.
And what made you decide to move away and basically start your own business? Gosh,
that's a very long story. In a nutshell, I suppose, it was becoming more and more difficult at the time to run high volume cases. We were in the city, so it became, you used to get a city rate, you used to get higher hourly charges, and then they scrapped all that. So we were in the city with very high overheads and running sort of relatively small cases, RTA stuff and so on, as lawyers. And so, but as part of that process, we were looking at, we were insuring the work, but it was very difficult, it was onerous to get these policies, etc. And so we came up with the idea of doing that, and then various partnership squabbles, and the tail was wagging the dog a bit with the business. Our department was far larger suddenly than everybody else, and so eventually it became a fairly mutual decision that we would leave. And we were going to do a management buyout at the time of the department, but the goalpost kept being moved, and so eventually we just sort of walked away with experience and ideas, and so we created Box Legal and sort of went from there.
And was that your first idea, Box Legal?
No, it was. I'm not going to tell you what the other ideas were. We'd already created the concept within the partnership, but we took that away with us because we thought of it all, but we hadn't done anything with it as such. So we then sort of parked that really and tried some other bits and pieces, didn't really work out, and so I think it was probably the third idea we came up with to go through and really properly design an ATE product.
Okay, and why insurance? Obviously you said that you were already doing it.
Yeah, I suppose it's just, we knew both sides, because I think it's probably rare for, often insurance products are created by people in the insurance industry, whereas we've been in the solicitors industry running cases, high volume litigation, mainly motor stuff, personal injury, and so we really knew the ins and outs of how those cases worked, and the difficulties that we faced with regard to covering cases, how, getting cover on cases on cover, the claims processes, the reporting, all that sort of stuff. So we knew that. So I've almost forgotten your question, was it? We thought we were quite well placed, I think, to design it for that.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense, because you kind of knew what you were doing from both angles, from working in it.
Yeah, and we had to learn a lot because we weren't insurance people, so we had to learn a lot about what you needed to have in an insurance product.
Yeah.
So there's quite a steep learning curve and so forth. But we worked with the insurer and got fairly quickly something that was pretty good. I mean, it's been tweaked over the years, but the concept was there. Anyway.
And what would you think, or what would you say, was maybe a challenge that you didn't necessarily foresee but happened in the beginning? If you can think of it that long.
Well, it was I suppose one of the challenges was we launched the product. we put some adverts in the Gazette, Law Society Gazette, and the challenge was we hadn't quite realised how much of a demand there'd be for it. So we wanted to go and meet people. This is pre-Zoom and Teams and all that. So we literally drove up and down the country. We hadn't realised that 90% of the industry was Manchester, Liverpool, sort of northwest, and we were booking 3 meetings a day over the phone whilst we were in the car, but then attending 2. So we were really struggling to keep up with the demand. So the challenge was really, keeping up with everything. I remember driving up and down the M6 constantly every day of the week, getting home 10 o'clock at night, printing out the documents and the presentation and the contracts for the next 2 meetings the next day, getting back in the car, going back up again the next day. So it was fun.
Yeah.
But we hadn't quite appreciated how physical and hands-on it was to get out there and pitch and sell and that sort of business to law firms.
But then it kind of sounds as if you were able to attract clients pretty quickly then.
It took a while to get the first one. I think it probably took us a month or 2 to get the first one, because I think we were still learning the ropes of how to sell and what. And we learned, we adapted as we went on, because people were asking us questions and saying, well, can it do this, and what happens in these circumstances. We hadn't really thought of some of the things that they came up with. So we improved the product very quickly in the first few weeks and months. And then once we got the first one, we kind of realised how to do it, and then it snowballed pretty quickly. We were picking up people pretty rapidly after that.
Okay, and what actually made you become a lawyer?
Oh God, originally?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to be an accountant originally. This is going to offend lots of people, but I was a bit concerned I might be considered to be a bit too boring. It was fine, I could do it. I went and did accounting and finance at university, but during that degree you could take a couple of units of law, because it helped you then to be exempt from later on certain accountancy exams, so you could be an accountant more quickly.
Yeah.
And I very rapidly realised that they were much more interesting than doing the actual accounts. We did contract law and torts, and I was just fascinated. But I think the real, we're doing case law, the real stories in history and everything else all tied up in it, and I really loved it. And so I thought, well, I quite fancy having a go at this. So I then did the CPE years sort of to change my degree effectively, and then the LSF after that. So it's 5 years of post-school education.
Do you regret it?
What, being a lawyer?
Yeah, because you could have been an accountant.
No, I can't possibly regret it.
That's the question I wanted to
No, I haven't. No, not at all. I've enjoyed. I mean, no one enjoys all of it, but I've enjoyed the highs and the lows. Of the whole thing, really, going through training and running my own caseload. I used to run a massive caseload. Some couple of, well, particularly one high-profile case I ran, and then building up a department, starting from scratch, starting a business. I've enjoyed it in different ways, but yeah, it's been fun.
So coming back to Box Legal, what's been your most proudest part of Box Legal so far? Bearing in mind 20 years this year.
Yeah, I think this probably sounds a bit crass, I don't know, but I think the proudest thing for me is the team we've put together. I don't think it's necessarily all us. I think it's we've managed to get together a really fabulous group of people. You're all here, isn't it?
Me aside.
Who it's almost like a family now, but very loyal, hard-working, really knowledgeable. I don't think that's necessarily down to myself. Well, part of it perhaps is down to myself and Simon, but I think we've got some, some people who've been with us a long time, who have helped all the other people who've come on board. So I think one of the proudest things is really to create such a really tight-knit, really excellent group of people who then make the business itself and the running of the business really quite easy. I mean, we've got people who are effectively running it, and we trust them as well. So we've got people who we can just sort of let people get on with stuff, and they're all working from home now, and it's fabulous. I think it's great, and it's nice. You go to the Christmas party and it's good fun to go to the Christmas party. It's not, oh, I've got to go to a Christmas party and deal with those idiots. You don't have that. They're good fun and nice people and good to talk to.
As an employee, I'd say the same.
Oh, well, you had to say that, didn't you? Because
no, I didn't.
yeah.
And what would you say to someone who's just starting out in their career, or someone who kind of wants to do what you and Simon did and branch out if you've got an idea?
Good question. I would say take the risks when you're young. If you've got an idea, then nowadays you can create businesses and so forth much more easily than we ever could because of this technology that's out there. And you can also do it whilst you're still in another job. Perhaps you need to do it part time. But take the risk when you're young, when you haven't got the responsibilities, the mortgages and children or whatever. So if it won't always go right. This is our third idea. But if you haven't spent very much and you're doing it through technology and you're doing it when you're young, you haven't got a lot to lose.
Yeah.
The other thing I think that I've said to my kids and pushing them to do it as well is go and do something early on where you are speaking to people, strangers all the time. So go and work in a cafe, go and work in a shop. I used to work in a petrol station, pumping petrol when you had to go and pump it for people. And you had to talk to people you didn't know, and you had to be polite and know how to approach people and all that sort of stuff. Those are skills that you can't teach in school, because you talk to your friends in a different way than you talk to complete strangers. If you can thrive in those situations and you're put into a situation, difficult. If you work in a cafe, my son works in a cafe and he's came across difficult clients, you've got to deal with these people. If you can solve that when you're young, you get those skills all the way through your life, which will go fantastically well in creating a business, starting a business. You know how to approach people, you know how to talk to people.
I think that's really good advice.
Don't you go and work in a cafe. Okay. You've got the skills. You've got the skills. So it's fine.
And my final question.
Thank goodness.
It's not about Fox Legal.
Oh, right, okay.
If you could be an animal for a day.
Oh my goodness.
What animal would you choose?
I could be an animal for a day? Where did you get this stuff from?
Just made it up.
Yeah. Well, we've started to keep, how to say middle class, we're starting to keep chickens now. And I have to say they have a much better life than I've got no stress. They walk around our garden. I suppose the only stress is the foxes. They're going to run away from them. But I'll probably be a chicken just for the day, just to see what it's like. Okay. Or my dog. He has a nice life as well. He gets fed and goes for walks and things like that. So yeah, I don't know, possibly.
I would be some type of undersea.
Oh yeah, I should think about that because it's a different world.
Yeah. See what's down there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Can I change mine? No.
Go on then.
Yeah, a whale. I'll be a whale and travel the oceans. Yeah, or a bird maybe. That's another way to see the world, just up from up high.
But then you're up there in all weather conditions. That could be a problem.
Could be. How do we get on to
Well, thank you very much for sitting and chatting with me. Thank you for being such a good guest.
You were a very good host, I have to say.
Oh, thank you.